Hey, Laura Helen, 821 Designs, forever family, forever free, and the amazing mummy to Tegan Helen and Tyler David. So I recently had a call with one of my coaches back in the UK. Now we've not connected since a few days before we flew out to the US. It was incredible having that catch up, remembering the journey of how we got here. So when I spoke to her, it was 2 days before we flew out to Florida. And I was kind of in freak out mode. So we were doing everything to try and get Tegan to Date with Destiny. And there was only 2 days left to go. And we were at freak out point. And she's my coach, so everyone should have a coach. So I was kind of freaking out to her, saying, it's in 2 days, the people that believe in us are now saying, what are you going to do? It might not be now, your time might be next year. And I'm like, this has to happen. There's no plan B. I don't know how, but it's going to happen. Just having that pure faith. Part of me was going, what are you doing? Ah! But the other part of me was like, just keep going, just keep going. Just believe, just believe, just believe. And 12 hours before our flight was due to go to the US, we signed a client and they paid. So we booked our flight and we flew to Florida. We had a 14-hour flight flying to Florida to a country we'd never been to and didn't know, with nowhere to stay. Nowhere to stay. When we landed, another client paid what they owed us and we booked our Airbnb. We then, $2 on a bus, me and Tegan went down to Date with Destiny at this amazing event, incredible environment, incredible people. And a part of me is going, how am I going to get her home? Now his events go on to 2, 3, 4 in the morning. We're staying quite far away from the event. How am I going to get her home? And then I met a guy, chatted to him a little bit, didn't really go into much detail. And then he kind of came past me later on, threw an envelope at me and ran off. And it just said, I don't know your story yet, but I feel like this will help you breathe. And inside the envelope was $300. Now to some people that's lots, to some people that's not. To me right then, it was just another sign that someone's helping us. Someone was watching over us. So then that was our money to get to and from the event every day. Because it went on to 2, 3, I think one day was 4 in the morning. So we could get home with a taxi, all was good and all was safe. If you'd have told me the month before that we would get there, it was literally living life on the edge and having pure faith. 12 hours before the flight, we booked the flight tickets. We flew to the country with nowhere to stay. When we landed, someone had paid and we got the Airbnb. We got to the event with no way to get home with a kid across a town I didn't know in the dark. And then another 300 was created. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Like, they say there's miracles every day. We've been living proof of that for the last few months. The reason we didn't fly straight back to the UK, the reason we used our full 3-month visa, our honest thought was, if we're going to be homeless, we might as well do it in a hot country, right? So the only reason we stayed for the full 3 months is because we thought, if we end up homeless after all this, at least it's warm. At the event, it was incredible. So our team leaders, they were so great with us, especially me and Tegan. They realised, like, I'm in control when I don't share anything. I don't share the journey. I don't share our struggles. I'm mummy. I just fix everything. I just make everything happen and just keep going, keep hustling. Don't moan, keep hustling. So they challenged me to go share with someone I didn't know. So I wandered around a bit, looking lost, trying to fight with the voices telling me not to in my head. And I went and opened up and shared my story with someone. This person was called Cody. This guy was incredible. I could not have picked someone better to share it with. People just show up at the right time in the right place. He instantly fell in love with Tegan and myself. He stood up in the room we were doing our workbooks, started telling everyone about Tegan and her books. He raised $300 right there and then. He then flew us out to Utah for Christmas. So we got to spend Christmas and New Year in the snow, which our kids had never seen snow before, and we promised them we'd do all we can to make it a white Christmas. We ended up in Utah. The day we landed, it snowed. They had a white Christmas. We went sledging in the mountains. Cody flew us out, he took us in. We went to all his family parties. It was a proper traditional family Christmas with all the fun family crazy stuff. It was incredible. Like, we owe so much to him. What was really incredible about that is we didn't realise how much we needed it at that time. Because after Date with Destiny, my body was done. Like, I crashed, and I crashed hard. I had full-on flu. Like, I could barely get out of bed for like 5 to 7 days. I was so ill. Whereas if we hadn't had that break, if he hadn't have opened his heart and his home and his family to us, we'd have still been hustling and trying and hustling and trying and hustling and trying to keep on going and keep our heads above water. Who knows what would have come when I stopped. So this wasn't just great. Hey, baby. Okay, 2 seconds. So this wasn't just great for the fact that we had this family, this experience and this environment. It gave us time to relax, to have downtime, to get our bodies back to health before we then went on and smashed it. We owe him a huge thanks. So that's all I'm going to share for now, because my little man needs me and family comes first, right? So here we are in Miami having fun. We're going to go enjoy the rest of our day, and I'll share the next part of our chapter next time. I'm going to start sharing more so you can learn that there are real true miracles happening every day to everyday people. You can do this, whatever it is, you can do this. This is not the end. Bye.